Hello everybody, my name's Dave and I apologise, the cat is going to be in the way all the time today. She's craving attention. Today I want to talk about nitrogen filled tyres. Is it a scam? Seeing as we've got this scam theme going on, we'll talk about whether nitrogen in tyres is a scam. Now if you have nitrogen in your tyres and you've paid money for it, then so you may want to listen to this video. Anyway, nitrogen filled tyres, is it a scam or is it not a scam? Both options are viable and are correct, but I wouldn't pay good money to have nitrogen put in my tyres. This is just my opinion and there are minimal merits to using pure nitrogen in tyres, but the actual sale of the nitrogen in tyre shops and dealerships and the benefits they quote are the scam here. The real scam anyway. They're plagued with misquoted facts and snake oil science. It is just marketing nonsense to line the pockets of the tyre dealers, and here's why. The differences. Yes, there are differences, and the reason for using nitrogen are not maybe what you're thinking. This is a classic case in point for never believe what you read or hear, always check. For example, you'll hear lots of mistruths about nitrogen in tyres, even when it comes to aircraft. People just say what comes into their heads, and whether it is true or not, people just believe them. Conspiracy theories. Unless you have a flying car, then you do not need nitrogen in your tyres. And then, even if you have a flying car, you probably don't need nitrogen in your tyres. Yes. If your tyres are about to take 300 tonnes and go from 0 to 170 mile an hour, 250 kilometres an hour, instantly, then you do need nitrogen. For everybody else, you don't. And here's why you don't. For reference, I have used the 6 benefits of using nitrogen in tyres as quoted by Digit Insurance. And I've put a link to that in the description below. Now here's a disclaimer. I didn't pick these, they came up first when I did a Google search. So that's why I'm reading these ones as opposed to any others. There are many more, but these are the ones I've read out. And I've called them myths, and they're not really myths, but they are myths in it because they've turned them into myths from facts. Nitrogen increases fuel economy. The use of nitrogen in car tyres can have a positive effect on its fuel economy. When a tyre is filled with natural gas or air, the air has a tendency to migrate through the tyre material, as it does with nitrogen. Although the process is slow, it does have an impact on the tyre pressure. However, on the contrary, nitrogen is not very good at escaping from the tyre cavity. This in turn leads to the nitrogen-filled tyre pressures remain intact for a long time. The engine is able to perform optimally when the tyre pressure is ideal. The car can accelerate better in a linear way, leading up to a better fuel economy. In the long run, one ends up saving some money. That is snake oil science. The answer is yes, it is correct. However, you check your tyre pressures on a monthly basis, it negates this completely. Don't take my word for it, use the example from the America's Consumer Reports, who tested the theory, link in the description below. So their overall assessment of the entire thing is it's not worth bothering. They show that using nitrogen is not worth the money or the inconvenience. Their words, not mine. Consumer Reports conducted a 12-month study at their own auto test centre using 31 pairs of brand new all-season tyres. 31 pairs of brand new all-season tyres. They first ensured they had 95% nitrogen purity in each tyre. The claimed limit of their nitrogen system, which generates nitrogen gas from ambient air and removes the water vapour. We fill one tyre per model with air and then another tyre with nitrogen. So they've got one nitrogen, one air. Both were filled to 30 psi. They did 31 pairs at room temperature, and then they set both tyres outdoors for exactly 1 year. Then they brought them back inside to the room temperature again and checked them again. Both tyres had lost pressure over that time, but the difference in loss was minimal. The average loss of the air-filled tyres was 3.5 psi from the initial 30 psi. Nitrogen-filled tyres lost an average of 2.2 psi. The results show that nitrogen does reduce pressure loss, but the reduction was 1.3 psi, a difference from air-filled tyres over the entire year. Our tests show that while nitrogen has some advantages, both nitrogen air-filled tyres lose pressure over time. It's not this great void that everybody keeps going on about, oh, you know, it doesn't leak out anywhere near as fast. Right. So this unpronounceable guy's name, it is important that car owners routinely check their tyre pressures anyway. We have concerns that car owners who use nitrogen might check their tyre pressures less often. That would be a mistake. All of the owners of air-filled tyres need to do is make sure their tyre pressures are maintained, and they will obtain exactly the same fuel saving measures as nitrogen filled tyre owners. So in summary of this whole thing, air molecules are 292 picometers in diameter, whereas nitrogen are 300 picometers, a difference of 0.008 picometers. This put into perspective, a human hair ranges from 32 to 120 micrometers in thickness. That is 32 million to 120 million picometers. So we're talking hardly anything here. Naturally, there will be slightly more air loss than nitrogen. However, good luck in measuring this. It is 0.1 psi per month. All I can add to this is good luck measuring the fuel savings, and good luck in getting your $40 back, because you ain't going to get anywhere near that back in fuel saving. So myth 2, let's move on to myth 2. That ensures better grip on the roads. The claim: if the tyre on your car is correctly inflated, it can have a better grip on the road. Correct air pressure becomes very necessary to have a proper grip on the road during wet conditions. It is important for tyres to be properly inflated, since it maintains an optimum contact patch and connects the tyre with the road. However, in the case of natural air, the tyres lose their pressure comparatively sooner. What a load of horse tripe. Yes, they do, but not comparatively sooner, they don't. This leads to an increase in the size of the contact patch to a great extent. No, it doesn't. This reduces grip on the roads and increases fuel consumption. Well, I'm sorry, but there's no reduction in the patch size. Reducing air pressure increases the contact patch size. So this claim is based upon the nonsense spouted in myth 1. Nobody should be driving with their tyres incorrectly inflated, regardless of what gas is in them. Is this the best solution that their marketers could come up with? For goodness sake, it's just horse tripe. Myth 3. Enhances tyre durability. So what's the claim here? Well, the claim is natural air contains an amount of water vapour in it, and this in turn can lead to the formation of rust and corrosion in the tyres. Moreover, the corrosion rate increases when the tyre is inflated with natural air. This results in the tyres becoming less durable, and one might need to change them sooner. However, with the use of nitrogen in tyres, issues like rust and corrosion do not come into play. Thus, the need for changing tyres does not occur in a short time, and it is good for both the tyres and the pockets of the car owners. Right, I'm pausing my teleprompter here because I've got to say something. The outside of the tyre is in atmospheric conditions: sun, rain and air. Surely, if there's any corrosion, it's going to happen on the outside, but it doesn't, does it? So therefore, it's not going to happen on the inside, is it? No. This is just exaggerating the circumstances. How many people have you ever seen changing their wheel rims and tyres and etc. because of internal corrosion? Even cars that have stood for 60 years on a farm out in the open still have perfectly good wheels when they take the tyres off. Yes, the tyres are knackered and corroded, but the wheels are fine. It's just horse tripe. Don't believe this. Alright, so let's carry on. The answer to this first. What I find out about this claim is that it completely negates or disregards the outside of the tyre and the wheel, which both spend their entire lives out in the air, which is 78% nitrogen anyway, especially that main reason for changing tyres in the first place: tread wear. Now, the claim that the air contains water vapour is correct, But it isn't that nitrogen doesn't contain water vapour. There's 78% nitrogen in air. It's just that the water vapour has been removed when the nitrogen was created. So there is little in there. The reason that air has moisture in it is because it doesn't make that much difference. However, when was the last time you heard anyone ask a tyre shop to change the tyres because they're worn out on the inside? And it's dirt that causes corrosion, not water. So my summary here. Talk about clutching at extremely short straws. Myth 4. Offers better safety. Does it offer better safety, Mia? The claim. These tyres ensure consistent performance throughout any road condition. If you drive the car mostly on the highway, one must get it filled with nitrogen. You are sure to experience a better driving experience and better ride quality. I'll let that sink in for a minute while I give you the answer. What a load of hogwash. It matters not what gas you use in a tyre, it is the tyre's pressure that makes it work correctly. Just claiming that if you drive mainly on highways you must use nitrogen is the most dishonest statement yet. When was the last accident you saw on the news where the police stated that the accident was due to the air in the tyres? It just doesn't happen. So in summary, this is just beyond stupid. Myth 5. Improves ride quality. What? This is like, it makes them safer. So the claim here, what is the claim? Well, the claim is that nitrogen makes the ride better than compressed air filled tyres. This provides a better driving experience because where the tyre pressure is within an optimal range, it ensures that the tyres can absorb shocks and undulations better. The benefit of nitrogen in tyres is it makes driving over highways and having long journeys smoother and easier. What a lie. I have never heard such a stupid claim in all of my days. We reduce tyre pressure off-road to make a better ride on corrugations, etc. Good luck in refilling your tyre with nitrogen after that, by the way. So, in summary here, if this is all they can come up with, it is embarrassing. When was the last time you thought that my tyres are a bit hard, I'd better put nitrogen in them? It is the rubber sidewalls and the springs that create the harshness, etc. The gas doesn't matter as long as you've got some. I mean, if you compress it up to 500 psi, it's going to be hard as a rock. But as long as it's the correct pressure. Operation in high temperatures. Myth 6. The claim here. In nitrogen inflated tyres, the tyre pressure does not increase with high temperatures. The tyres offer a stable tyre pressure range despite the tyre temperature. So car owners do not need to worry about the tyres bursting in extremely high temperatures and can drive safely. Also, since nitrogen is more stable than natural air, the temperature rise in nitrogen tyres remains moderate during the heat cycle. This in turn increases the life of the tyres. I know what my next statement's going to be here in the answer. It's going to be, what a load of hogwash. All of this claim is a bold-faced lie, or at the very least, an extremely overstated misrepresentation. Of course, nitrogen expands with heat. Dry air's thermal expansion is 3.4252. and nitrogen's dry earth expansion is 3.4242, and good luck measuring that as well. Nitrogen doesn't expand. Of course it does. Everything expands. Do I need to say more? No, I don't need to say more because it's just explained away in its own stupidness. So the overall summary here. These particular 6 examples are very extreme. However, I picked them at random. There are many other examples and most of them are as ridiculous as these. All but one. The real reason they use nitrogen in aircraft tyres, and that's fire. You will hear lots of mistruths about nitrogen in aircraft tyres. That it's to stop them bursting and they take their temperature more, and as I said earlier, if your tyres are about to take 300 tonnes and go from 0 to 170 mile an hour or 280 kilometres an hour instantly, then you definitely need nitrogen. However, when did your tyres not take that much stick, ever? They didn't and they never will. Even if you drop it off a cliff, they still won't. So, do you need nitrogen in your tyres? None of your Nelly here do. If you're flying a 300-ton aircraft, yes you do. But for everyone else, unless you have money to burn and you don't know what to do with $40, no you don't. Give it to somebody poor, instead of lining the pockets of these people. These are the most sitting on the fence, let's please everyone responses I read from the tyre industry. Here we go. This is what you find this day, they're trying to please everybody. Which car? While there may be some benefit in having nitrogen in your tyres, it's not a substitute for checking your tyre pressures regularly. Popular mechanics. There are several compelling reasons to use pure nitrogen in tyres, but it's not a must-have. Well, if that's not sitting on the fence, I don't know what is. The AA, that's the Automobile Association, not so much in Australia, but in Europe. Overall, while accepting the possibility of purified nitrogen being a benefit of certain applications, we don't think that the cost and possible inconvenience are justified for normal passenger car use. Why don't they just say the second bit? Why do they have to say the first bit? Because they want to please everybody. Tyre review. Short answer, not really. Long answer, it depends. There you go. Sitting on the fence. And these are the best responses I can find out there. The Jackaroo channel, Dave. Mwah. Ask yourself this. How many car manufacturers put nitrogen in car tyres from new? No, you don't need it. It's a waste of money. Air is mainly nitrogen anyway, 78% in fact, and pure nitrogen is about 95%. So you're paying hard-earned cash for about an additional 15 to 18% of nitrogen. If you still think it's worth it, go and buy it. Your loss. Autoexpert.com.au, John Cadogan. Now this is typical John Cadogan stuff. There are 12.5 million cars on Australian roads. That's 50 million tyres. They're wearing out every 4 years. Let's say, and most tyre retailers are busily dry humping your leg to get you to spend $10 per corner to pump up with a miraculous gas, pure nitrogen. It's potentially a $100 million consumer scam, and shame on you for not paying attention at school if you get sucked into this pseudo-scientific vortex of bullshit. Good answer, John. Jalopnik. Filling one's tyres with nitrogen is one of those things, like rubbing cheetah's blood on your engine block. That's taken on almost mythological status among gearheads. The inert gas nitrogen is given credit from everything from improved handling to better MPG to reduced wheel wear. Edmunds. Now Edmunds must be an American company because I don't know Edmunds. Here's the short version. Save your money and stick with air. I like that, straight to the point. Chevy Dude. Consumer Reports tests show that using nitrogen is not worth the money or inconvenience. And that's right. They want you to believe that adding this harmless gas will somehow make your car run better. Don't fall for the tricks. Now the ones I like. Oborodow. No idea what they are. A wheel filled with nitrogen is lighter than a wheel filled with atmospheric air. Simple calculations show that the wheel of a mid-sized crossover will feel lighter by a few grams. And how much do the stones stuck in the tread weigh? That's really good. Here's another good one. The tyre pressure will be stable because the nitrogen hardly expands from heat. But the air is already 78% nitrogen, so the changes are due to the rest of the gases, which also do not expand beyond measure. The difference in the coefficient of volume expansion is negligible, with an insignificant figure in the 4th decimal place. That's a good answer too. These are all from the same people, by the way. The absence of oxygen protects the tyre material from premature aging. Tyre workers support this thesis, but you don't expect that your tyres after a century will be located on a pedestal like the wheels of a Lenin-armoured car. Wear and aging on the outer layers of rubber under the influence of the sun, ozone and moisture occurs much faster. That's it everybody. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you on the next one. Thank you. Bye now. And that's exactly what they've done.